Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen has finally inaugurated the new building of the Ministry of Land Management, Urban Planning and Construction after 7 months of delay. Australian Foreign Minister Marise Payne has paid a courtesy visit to Prime Minister Hun Sen as well as to Cambodian Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn. A 41-year-old woman, Wang Yaping, became the first Chinese woman astronaut to walk in space. This is the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Rhea Soko. After 7 months of delay, Prime Minister Hun Sen has finally inaugurated the new building of the Ministry of Land Management, Urban Planning and Construction. The new building is located in Phnom Penh's Sensuk district. The inauguration was originally scheduled last April, but due to COVID-19, it did not happen. The Prime Minister says that he is glad to finally inaugurate the new building of the ministry amid the COVID-19 pandemic. He has said that this is just one of the ministries that are waiting for inauguration. On 29 December, the Prime Minister will also inaugurate the Ministry of Defense. It was in January this year when he announced to conduct the official inauguration ceremony of the new building of the Ministry of Land Management. But because of COVID-19, all activities and ceremonies were being held back. But a week ago, Prime Minister Hun Sen has declared Cambodia as fully reopened. It led to the reopening of many businesses. He has emphasized that there will be no more closures because of COVID-19. If there are COVID-positive patients, then they will be sent to treatment centers, but no more lockdowns and closures.
The Prime Minister says those who want to recall the Paris Agreement are those who are favouring foreigners to take control of Cambodia again. He has explained to those who used the Paris Agreement to attack the government to reconsider. The PM has stated that the leadership under the Paris Agreement is the leadership in the transitional period, led by the Supreme National Council, involving Cambodians from all sides. However, the decision-making power rests with the UNTAC president. SNC is the only authority but works by consensus. The president of the SNC will make the decisions based on the opinions of other members. In the event of failure, the president of the United Nations Transitional Authority in Cambodia shall decide. So the highest person in power at that time was not the King Father of the nation, but UNTAC, organized by the United Nations. It is a permanent member of the Security Council. In the Constitution now, the greatest is the King. The Prime Minister says there's no need for the Paris Agreement. He stated that Cambodia currently has a constitution, a king, a senate and a national assembly, which are the guarantors of Cambodia's independence. Why bring the Paris Agreement to cover Cambodia? He warns to arrest those who want this agreement to regain control of Cambodia as a serious insult to the nation's institutions. The president of the Royal Academy of Cambodia, Dr. Sok Dut, stated at the round table on the 30th anniversary of the Paris Peace Accords on the 22nd of October that the Paris Agreement of the 23rd of October 1991 has historical significance, but it has expired. This has been the case since 1993, when UNTAC withdrew from Cambodia. He stressed that what is worth now is the Cambodian constitution, which is in force and must be respected. Cambodia changed its constitution from 2/3 to 50+1 to allow the formation of a government in 2006, 15 years ago.
The Australian Foreign Minister Marise Payne has paid a courtesy visit to Prime Minister Hun Sen at the Peace Palace on Monday. Meeting with the Cambodian Prime Minister was first on her list after she arrived in Cambodia on Sunday. The Australian minister has also visited her Cambodian counterpart, Prak Sokhonn, discussing bilateral issues. EAC News reporter Paolo Bonini has the story.
The Australian Foreign Minister, who is also the Minister of Women's Affairs, Marise Payne, has paid a courtesy visit to Prime Minister Hun Sen on Monday morning. She was warmly welcomed by the Prime Minister. It was part of her 2-day official visit in the kingdom in response to the invitation of Cambodian Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn. Prime Minister Hun Sen has revealed on Monday that one of the important topics to be discussed during her visit was about the US-UK-Australia trilateral alliance. This was also confirmed by the Prime Minister's assistant, Eng Sopalite. He says Prime Minister Hun Sen has agreed on the relationships between Cambodia and Australia in both bilateral and multilateral frameworks. Australia has been acknowledged by the Prime Minister in helping the kingdom in many fields, especially in the fields of agriculture, military, and education, as well as opening up Cambodian students to study in Australia in the field of health. As Australia earlier pledged to donate COVID-19 vaccines to Cambodia, the Prime Minister has expressed his gratitude in advance. Apart from visiting Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, Payne has also visited the Cambodian Organisation for Crisis Women, where she was welcomed by the Minister of Women's Affairs, Ong Konta Parvi. Australia and Cambodia began diplomatic ties in 1952. Australia has been providing strong support for Cambodia's path to peace in the late 1980s and early 1990s, including playing a leading role in the United Nations Transitional Authority in Cambodia. Until today, Cambodia has acknowledged Australia for remaining firm to its commitment to the kingdom's development. Paolo Bonini, EAC News.
Cambodia has coordinated with the Korea Water Resources Cooperation for water management projects in the kingdom. The Ministry of Environment has revealed that the General Secretariat of the National Council for Sustainable Development, SOMTI, together with two other officials, has met with the Executive Director of the K-Water of the Republic of Korea, Young Yuk-chu, at the ongoing COP26 to discuss ongoing projects and some priority projects in Cambodia. COP26 is the UN's annual conference on climate change, currently held at Glasgow, Scotland, United Kingdom, attended by different leaders around the world. SOMTI was accompanied by Deputy Director General of the General Department of Environmental Knowledge and Information, Uy Kamal, and representative of the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries, Korn Saret. Cambodia's Environment Ministry has added K-Water has cooperated with the Ministry of Water Resources and Meteorology to implement water resources management projects in some provinces, such as Battambang, and is studying other projects. K-Water's Yong Yuk-chu has said that they are interested in studying hydropower and water supply and waste management in satellite cities in the kingdom. The Cambodian delegation has emphasized that the Ministry of Environment has set the goal to improve the livelihoods of communities to reduce pressure on natural resources, especially forests, as part of a response to climate change by reducing greenhouse gas emission. The ministry says that it is also paying high attention to sanitation, such as the supply of clean water in the community and schools through the provision of water filters, waste management in the town. A remarkable decrease of COVID-19 continues to be recorded in the kingdom, with cases remain below 100. Only 68 new cases were recorded on Monday, including 7 imported cases. In total, Cambodia's COVID-19 cases now stands at 119,160. Another positive sign is that recovery still outpaced the number of cases. 72 patients were declared cured from COVID-19 overnight. They make the total recovery to 115,519. However, deaths are still being recorded. 6 people lost their lives due to COVID-19. Cambodia's total deaths since the beginning of the pandemic now stands at 2,835. The kingdom's active cases are now down to 799. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports has announced that Cambodia's new academic year will begin in 10 January. This was confirmed by the Ministry of Education spokesman Ross Suvacha. He has also informed that the grade 12 exam will finally pursue on 27 December. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Hun Sen has announced on Monday that he will not yet allow the reopening of kindergarten schools. EAC News reporter Rosalie Bautista has the details.
A week following the reopening of the schools nationwide, the Ministry of Education has now released the date for the new academic year for 2021-2022. It will kick off on 10 of January 2022. The ministry has reiterated that the school administrations must strictly adhere to the safety protocols to prevent the spread of COVID-19. This is to ensure the safety not only of the students but of the whole school staff. While announcing the new academic year, the Ministry of Education has also reminded grade 12 teaching forces to conduct the exams with the principles of law, justice, transparency, and acceptable results, as well as health safety measures. The lower secondary school exam will push through on 15 November. Ministry of Education spokesman Ross Sobicha says that the exams will take the same form as those of last year. Meanwhile, Prime Minister has announced on Monday that kindergarten schools will continue to be closed. He made the announcement on Monday morning during the inauguration of the Ministry of Land Management, Urban Planning and Construction. Rosalie Bautista, EAC News.
A police officer has been arrested for murdering his brother-in-law in Battambang province. The arrest was made by the Serious Criminal Force of Battambang on Thursday after the victim's body was found already in a decomposition state. Battambang Serious Crime Unit says the murder case has been under investigation for over 2 months. EAC News reporter Paolo Bonini has the story.
It was on the morning of the 31st of August that villagers were horrified to discover the body of Yang Sarat, a 45-year-old male in the Donbar commune. He had been savagely beaten to death and his body partially buried in a local forest. In an attempt to cover up his crime, the murderer dug a hole to hide the corpse, but the body was not fully concealed and was soon found by locals. The victims showed signs of severe bludgeoning about both the face and the head. These injuries were the probable cause of death. According to the police report, the victim had been previously arrested for a minor disturbance. He was last seen with the suspect, Deputy Inspector General Da Soka, on the 28th of August, who is the brother-in-law of the victim. The police officer was transporting the victim back to his home on release. That was the last time the victim was seen alive. Police say the case is now closed. Paolo Bonini, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has finally given a green light to wedding ceremonies. He made the announcement during the inauguration of the new building of the Ministry of Land Management, Urban Planning and Construction. However, he has clarified that only a limited number of people are allowed. EAC News reporter Yuri Matusko has the details.
Around 200 guests are allowed per event. Workers such as waitresses, cooks, and filmmaking team are not included as part of the limited number. That is the instruction of Prime Minister Hun Sen as the country is living in a new normal way, living with COVID-19 but preventing the spread of it. Since March this year, the Prime Minister has imposed a ban on wedding parties in response to few outbreaks in wedding ceremonies, which are also related to the 20 February community transmission outbreak. As weddings are finally back, the Prime Minister Hun Sen has reminded the wedding organizers to always ensure safety by following the 3 do's and 3 don'ts set by the Ministry of Health. Yuri Matusko, EAC News.
KTVs, nightclubs, and other entertainment bars are the longest businesses that have been closed due to COVID-19, although the country has already fully reopened on the 1st of November. Prime Minister Hun Sen has told them to wait until 30th of November. On Monday, the Prime Minister has never forgotten to mention the KTV and entertainment club owners during his speech at the inauguration of the Ministry of Land Management, Urban Planning and Construction building. He says that the country has to be very careful in reopening in the new normal way. He has told the owners of these businesses to wait until the end of the month. The Prime Minister has been working hard to fully reopen all sectors to bounce the economy back. But according to him, with KTVs and bars limited space, the danger of spreading the COVID-19 is huge. Last week, Phnom Penh Governor Kong Sireng has told EAC News that he is proposing to reopen the KTV and other entertainment businesses with safety measure in place. Kingdom of Cambodia will celebrate its 60th anniversary of national independence on Tuesday. It was on the 9th of November, 1953, when Cambodia was freed by the French Protectorate. A ceremony will be led by His Majesty King Norodom Sihamuni, lighting the victory flame at the Independence Monument. It will be attended by heads of different ministries and government leaders to pay a tribute to all Cambodians who have sacrificed their lives to get independence. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the story.
For nearly a century, Cambodia was part of the French colonial empire in Southeast Asia. During World War II, the Franco-Thai War left the French Indo-Chinese colonial authorities in a position of weakness. The Proctorate was established in 1863 when the Cambodian King Norodom requested establishment of a French Proctorate over his country. Cambodia was integrated into the French Indochina Union in 1887, along with the French colonies and proctorates in Vietnam. In 1946, Cambodia was granted self-rule within the French Union and had its protectorate status abolished in 1949. Cambodia finally gained its independence 9 November 1953, thanks to the late King Father Norodom Sihanouk. His several negotiations resulted to the full control of Cambodia's national defense, police, courts, and financial matters. The Cambodians were finally declared free of any foreigner ruling, with the command of military forces given to the king in October 1953, in which the official ceremony date set is the 9th of November 1953. Since then, King Sihanouk became a hero for the Khmer people, being known as the Father of Independence. On Monday afternoon, delegations from different government ministries and institutions have given laurels under the royal statue of the late King Father Norodom Sihanouk, a way to pay a high gratitude to the late King Sihanouk for the heroism he did for everyone to be freed. Cambodians have been enjoying 68 years of freedom now. No more protectorate, no more foreigner ruling. This monument behind reminds us all of the heroic deed the late King Sihanouk did to achieve liberty for its people and for its kingdom in what is called now independence. Yuri Matosko, EAC News, Independence Monument, Phnom Penh.
Now for a look at news making international headlines this Monday, 8th of November.
Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi has narrowly escaped an assassination attempt on Sunday after an explosive-laden drone targeted his residence in Baghdad, the country's military reported, while 7 of Kadhimi's security personnel were injured. The Prime Minister has called the attacks cowardly, saying that they work against a better future for the country. Al-Kadhimi calls for calm and constructive dialogue for the sake of Iraq in the future of Iraq. 3 drones were used in the attack, including 2 that were intercepted and downed by security forces, while a 3rd drone hit the residence and that they had been launched from around 12 kilometers northeast of Baghdad. Footage from Iraqi Prime Minister's office shows the damage of the blast. A vehicle parked outside his home was seen damaged, with the windows blown out, surrounded by rubble, and some shutters on the ground along with the debris from the impact. No group immediately claimed responsibility. A spokesman for the Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief says that the security situation was stable inside the Green Zone, which houses the residents, government buildings, and foreign embassies following the attack.
At least 99 people died on Friday after a fuel tanker exploded in a suburb of Sierra Leone's capital, Freetown. The Director of Communications of Sierra Leone's National Disaster Management Agency, Mohamed Lamran Ba, also confirmed that several people were also in critical condition following the explosion. The explosion has occurred after 2 vehicles collided on the highway while the fuel tanker was about to enter a nearby filling station to discharge its fuel, the NDMA says in a statement. Eyewitnesses have recalled that while the collision took place, both drivers came out of their vehicles and warned community residents to stay off the scene while trying to address a leakage emanating from the collision. But some community members still rushed to the scene and took advantage of the leakage to scoop fuel and store it in nearby makeshift structures. Then a major explosion happened that results in a big fire disaster. Ambulances were assembled to take charred bodies and those in critical situations to various hospitals in Freetown. Most of the victims included people who had flocked to collect fuel leaking from the tanker vehicle. Accidents with tanker trucks in sub-Saharan Africa have previously killed scores of people who gathered at the site to collect the spilled fuel and were hit by secondary blasts.
And 8 dead, 10-year-old critical following crowd surge at Astroworld Festival in Houston, Texas. 2 teenagers were among the 8 victims who died on Friday night during rapper Travis Scott's sold-out rap concert. Houston Fire Chief Samuel Peña has confirmed the casualty. At around 9 p.m., the crowd that had gathered for a performance by Travis Scott, people began to push toward the front of the stage, causing panic and injuries. It led to a stampede. More than 300 people were also treated throughout the event at an on-site field hospital. Around 50,000 showed up for the 2-day event. The second day of the festival has been canceled.
After the break, a look at the day's sports news.
EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, 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 wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the Daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News. Cambodia made clear.
Red Bull's Max Verstappen has celebrated a dominant win in the Mexico City Grand Prix on Sunday to surge 19 points clear of Lewis Hamilton in the Formula One Championship with 4 races remaining. 7 times world champion Hamilton was second for Mercedes, holding off Red Bull's Sergio Perez, who became the first Mexican to stand on his home podium at the jubilant Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Red Bull closed the gap to Mercedes in the constructors' standing to 1 point. The championship leader seized the lead into the first corner from third on the grid after going 3 abreast with the 2 Mercedes and gave Hamilton no chance to hit back once the initial safety car period was out of the way.
It just shows how fast their car was when Sergio was that close behind me and able to follow that closely. He did a great job, so he was applying that pressure and just kept going. But I really enjoyed the race still.
Perez was hoisted high on the shoulders of his mechanics as he waved the Mexican flag to salute the crowd before the podium ceremony.
It's an unbelievable day. Obviously, I wanted more, today I wanted to get the 1-2 for the team. It was pretty close, but I didn't have a single chance, to get through. Still, I gave my full heart, for these people. I could actually hear them when I was going through here. It was pretty enjoyable.
Verstappen took the checkered flag 16.555 seconds clear of Hamilton to seal his 9th victory of the season, 3rd in Mexico and 19th of his career.
It's incredible. Of course, having Checo as a teammate coming here to Mexico is amazing, but even before that already, all the time the fans here, they've been incredible. They love Formula One, so it's really, really nice to be here.
The safety car was deployed until lap 4 after a collision at the start between Haas Mick Schumacher and Alfa Stardy Yuki Tsunoda, while McLaren's Daniel Ricciardo tagged the back of Valtteri Bottas' Mercedes and lost his front wing.
Bayer Leverkusen's Robert Andrich has tapped in a last-minute equalizer for a 1-on-1 draw at Hertha Berlin on Sunday to rescue a point but stretch his side's winless run to 4 league matches. Hertha points. Olympic champion Paris Jepchircher has won the 50th running of the New York City Marathon on Sunday in 2:22:39, surviving a thrilling 3-way battle before sprinting for the finish line. And fellow Kenyan Albert Correr won the men's race in 2:8:22.
Jepchircher is the first athlete to pick up Olympic gold and win the famed 5-borough race in the same year, with compatriot Cheptu and Ethiopian Yeshanin finishing 2nd and 3rd respectively. Korea, who finished 2nd in 2019, had established a 17-second lead through the 35-kilometre mark and leapt into the air as he broke the tape in Central Park. Moroccan Mohamed Al-Abi finished 44 seconds behind, and Italian Finelli finishing 3rd. The temperature hovered around 40 degrees Fahrenheit on Staten Island as the major marathon kicked off at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, after going on hiatus for over a year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Swiss Michael Hug won the men's wheelchair division in 1 hour 31 minutes, and Paralympic champion De Rossio was the first Australian to win the women's wheelchair race, finishing in 1 hour 51 minutes.
Now let's have a look at tomorrow's weather condition. 41-year-old Wang Yaping on Monday became the first Chinese woman astronaut to walk in space as she moved out of the under-construction space station and took part in extravehicular activities for over 6 hours along with her male colleague mission commander Zai Zigang. As of 8:28 Sunday night Beijing time, Wang, together with Zai of China's Shenzhou 13 mission, have flown out of the Tiangong space station in the country's latest generation of spacesuits to conduct their first outing activities, marking the historic moment in China's space program. Astronaut Ye Guangfu has supported in the cabin. The outbound activity took 6 hours. Wang has reported that she was in good condition when communicating with the ground control, which refers to itself as Shangguang. Shangguang is the project name of China's planned manned space mission back in the 1970s, meaning the dawn in Chinese. Due to the lack of necessary conditions in the 1970s, the project Shangguang never materialized, but the name has been used today to represent ground control during the Shenzhou 13 mission. The Shenzhou 13 mission crew was launched on 16 October by a Long March 2F carrier rocket at the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in northwest China's Gobi Desert and soon entered the Chang'e module, which is the first and central section of the Tiangong space station. They are scheduled to undertake a 6-month journey inside the station, fulfilling the nation's longest space mission so far. In 2012, China became the third nation to send women into space with its own space program after the Soviet Union or Russia and the United States. You have been watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News Channel. For more updates and breaking news, you can check our website at www.eacnews.asia. You can also check our Facebook page, Telegram, or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News Team channel tomorrow night at 8. I'll see you then.